Okay, let's unpack this. If you're running an MSP right now, you know the pressure points. They're really intensifying.
Hmm.
You're trying to manage, shrinking margins, finding senior automation engineers feels almost impossible.
Yeah, forget about it.
Right. And then clients are constantly asking about AI. They've read some article on ChatGPT, and suddenly they expect it baked into everything.
Exactly. The demand is absolutely there, no question.
It is.
But the operational side, that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah, the lack of internal know-how, the time, the right tools maybe to actually deliver profitable AI automation, it feels like a huge missed opportunity.
Well, what's interesting about the sources we looked at is they skip right past admiring the problem. They propose this really specific, vertically integrated solution just for MSPs.
Okay.
So our mission today is to really dig into the model offered by Growth Right Solutions GRS. They claim, pretty boldly, that they can help MSPs immediately build, sell, and scale high-margin AI automation services.
Without adding staff, that's the big claim. That's the hook. No extra staff, no big upfront risk, no increased operational overhead. So we need to dissect how they supposedly guarantee that. We're really focusing on generating new MRR, monthly recurring revenue, by essentially reselling ready-to-go, tested automation systems you can brand as your own.
Okay, so that partnership angle is where we have to start, right?
Yeah.
Because GRS isn't just like another software vendor or some high-level consulting firm.
No, not at all.
Apparently, the people behind it are former MSP owners, operators, techs.
Yeah, and that's critical context, isn't it? They claim they've walked in your shoes.
Which should mean they get it.
It should. It means they understand the difference between, a cool strategy slide and the actual messy reality of supporting clients day to day. If they really are former MSPs, they know that things like deployment headaches, blowing up the service desk, margin killers, those are just non-starters.
So their core promise is supposedly built on that understanding. They're helping MSP leaders whose clients need AI and automation systems, but systems that deliver better margins and, crucially, measurable ROI, like right away.
Targeting that pain point of scaling without the internal cost.
Exactly. Finding scale without hiring a bunch of expensive engineers you might not keep busy.
And you mentioned ROI. The focus is squarely on automating outcomes, not just, tasks or processes.
Precisely. They position themselves as an automation building firm. They actually build the thing.
Not just strategists handing off a plan.
Right. And they seem to have a pretty high bar for what they'll even suggest. Their line is something like, if it doesn't move the needle, we don't recommend it.
Okay, move the needle. For a business owner, that sounds good, but what does it actually mean in their world?
Well, it has to mean tangible business results,
Yeah.
usually tied to sales or efficiency. Think more appointments booked, faster lead response times, maybe cutting down on repetitive admin work, things you can actually count.
So it shifts the conversation. It's not just, are my servers up anymore?
It's how much revenue did that system you put in generate for me this month? That's a different conversation entirely.
Definitely. But, okay, practicalities. Control, confidentiality. That's huge for MSPs. How does this no-cost peer partnership actually work?
Good question. So the setup is the MSP remains the face. They own the client relationship, the brand, everything the client sees.
Yeah.
GRS operates totally behind the scenes, designing, building, maintaining these systems, invisible to the end client.
Invisible. That feels important for maintaining trust.
It's a calculated move for sure, protects the MSP's relationship, but honestly, the financial mechanics and those guarantees they talk about, those are even more critical.
Right, let's get into the money. They claim typical resale margins are like 2 to 3 times cost.
That's the claim,
Yeah.
which on paper looks fantastic. Instant lift to ARR, boost company valuation, all the good stuff.
But is that just on the monthly recurring bit, or is there like a setup fee involved too?
The sources suggest it's often a mix. Maybe an initial setup or implementation fee that the client pays the MSP. Good margin there too, usually.
Right.
And then the ongoing MRR for the management, the hosting, API access, whatever it is, all white labeled under the MSP's brand.
Okay, that makes sense. But the real confidence booster, you mentioned guarantees. This performance guaranteed partnership thing.
Yes, that's probably the linchpin. It directly addresses that risk aversion MSPs naturally have when trying something new and complex, like AI.
How so?
Basically, if an AI automation system they build doesn't hit the specific goals laid out in the statement of work, those measurable outcomes we talked about.
Like book 10 more appointments per week or whatever.
Exactly. If it fails to meet those goals, GRS is contractually obligated to fix it. They refine the system at their own cost until it works,
Oh.
or they credit the fees back.
Wait, hold on. That implies GRS is eating the risk of implementation failure. That's usually where the costs can explode.
It seems so. That's the guarantee.
So what's the MSP's responsibility then? Are they just selling it, or do they need to manage client adoption and training?
The sense I get is the MSP handles the relationship, makes the introduction, facilitates things. But the technical heavy lifting, the execution, making sure it performs, that falls squarely on GRS.
Okay.
This model only works if GRS is really confident in their systems, their blueprints, as they call them, and they try to minimize risk further in other ways, too.
Like how?
Well, they only serve MSPs exclusively. They promise never to sell direct to end clients.
Ah, protecting the channel.
Right. Protecting territories, committing to never contact a client unless the MSP invites them, and even then, only joining meetings with the MSP present. It's all about protecting that MSP client trust.
Okay, that's pretty comprehensive protection. So the financial side and the partnership security seem clear. Let's pivot to what the MSP actually gets to sell. What are these systems?
Yeah, moving from the how to the what, these have to be tangible solutions, not just consulting fluff. The big picture goal for these systems is helping the client make more money from their leads faster, usually by stopping leads from falling through the cracks during manual handoffs.
Okay.
So the systems connect the client's existing tools, CRMs, calendars, maybe Slack or Teams, email into one unified automated funnel.
And crucially, they're turnkey, something an MSP can actually deploy quickly.
That's the idea. Instant or near instant measurable value. The first main offering seems to revolve around being always available. These 2047 conversational systems.
So AI chatbots and voice bots.
Yes, but supposedly a cut above the generic ones. They emphasize that these AI systems are custom trained on the client's specific business.
What does custom trained mean in practice?
It means feeding the AI the client's actual knowledge base, their FAQs, pricing sheets, service details, maybe even transcripts of past good sales calls.
Ah, so it actually knows what it's talking about for that specific business.
Exactly. So it can engage customers naturally across text, email, web chat, social media, even phone calls, sounding like a well-trained employee, not just a dumb bot.
Okay, that's powerful. Continuous quality interaction. And that leads into the second big offering,
Yep.
the lead capture and booking.
Yeah, the 247 lead capture, qualification, and booking system. This is the engine that really tackles the sales efficiency problem. It runs constantly.
How does it work? Step by step.
Okay, first it grabs leads from everywhere, simultaneously web forms, website chat, incoming SMS, phone calls, social media DMs, pulls them all into one place. No more checking 5 different inboxes.
Okay, consolidation. Then what?
Then the crucial qualification step. Instead of just getting a name and email,
The AI assistant actually talks to them.
right, it runs the prospect through a predefined process using rules and smart logic. It figures out if they're a good fit, maybe confirming their industry, budget range, timeline, whatever matters to that client. It scores them, tags them, routes them.
The sales reps only talk to qualified leads.
That's the goal. And if the lead is qualified, the system immediately starts nurturing them, timely follow-ups, via email, text maybe. Then the final step.
Booking the meeting.
Exactly. It interacts with a sales rep's calendar and books a real conversation, a demo, whatever the next step is, right onto their schedule, complete with automated reminders to make sure people actually show up.
Wow. So the client gets faster speed to lead, potentially higher conversion, without needing a whole team of people just managing inquiries.
That's the value proposition.
Yeah.
Less admin, more selling.
Now, from the MSP side, integrating this stuff, client infrastructure can be a nightmare. Does this force the client onto a whole new platform?
They seem to offer flexibility here, which is smart. Option 1 is integration. They connect their AI systems into the client's existing CRM, sync with their existing Outlook or Google Calendar. Minimal disruption.
Okay, that's good. And option 2, if the client's tech stack is a mess,
Then they can actually supply a complete white label system. The source mentions GHL.
which is go high level.
Yeah, go high level. It's an all-in-one marketing and CRM platform that's pretty well known for its built-in automation features. So GRS can provide that platform already connected to all their automations, branded as the MSP's solution.
So either way, the MSP looks like the hero providing the solution.
Exactly. And GRS handles the tricky integration bits behind the curtain.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. Strategically, what does this do for the MSP's relationship with their client long term? How does delivering, booked appointments change that renewal conversation?
Now this is maybe the most important part. By delivering tangible business results, qualified leads, higher close rates, things the client CEO actually cares about deeply.
Yeah.
The MSP moves beyond being just the IT guy or the keep the lights on provider. They build genuine trusted advisor credibility.
Okay.
A digs of loyalty like nothing else. So when renewal time rolls around, the conversation is just haggling over the price per seat for endpoint security anymore. It's about how technology, specifically automation and AI delivered by the MSP, is going to drive the client's future growth, their goals.
You shift from being a cost center, basically, to a growth partner.
Precisely. And that seems to be the core idea behind GRS's main claims about why they're different.
Right. They have a list.
Yeah, it all ties back to making the MSP look good with zero extra work for them. They focus on delivering those measurable outcomes we keep talking about, not just promises.
And the ongoing support, the zero headaches claim.
That's huge, because maintaining AI automations isn't trivial. You got API changes, integrations breaking, models needing retraining or tweaking, prompt engineering.
Yeah, it's complex.
GRS claims to absorb all of that ongoing management and maintenance, so the MSP gets the benefit of specialist expertise without having to build and pay for that team internally.
They have that line, we build it once, you benefit every day.
Right, because the automations just run 24/7, capturing leads while the client sleeps, qualifying prospects. It delivers continuous productivity without continuous payroll costs for that function.
And tackles that universal client pain point. Missed leads, dropped balls.
Exactly. The voice bots, chat bots, the workflows, they ensure no more missed leads or dropped balls. And transparency is key too.
How so?
The MSP gets real-time visibility. Reports showing exactly how many leads came in, how many got qualified, how many booked meetings, maybe even estimates of admin hours saved.
That's the proof behind the performance guarantee, right? If you can see the numbers on a dashboard.
The value is undeniable. And yeah, the testimonial snippets reinforce that MSPs become the heroes driving client growth, supposedly adding zero overhead expenses to their own P&L.
Okay, so let's synthesize this. The model GRS is putting forward essentially lets an MSP, even when we're struggling with AI internally, immediately start offering these fairly complex, high-margin automation services.
Yep, as a fully supported white label offering. The MSP keeps total control of the client relationship and their brand, but they're leveraging this specialist partner who really understands the MSP world.
It seems like a clear pathway to boost ARR and profitability without that massive upfront investment and ramp-up time of building an internal AI practice?
And GRS makes the first step seem pretty low commitment too. They talk about starting the journey by attending an 18-minute live briefing.
18 minutes. Specific.
Yeah, they frame it like a TED Talk time-wise, but claim the content is much more valuable because it's actionable for MSPs.
And what do they cover in 18 minutes?
Apparently, how to increase profit without adding staff, identifying where automation can unlock margins quickly, and how to package this whole thing into repeatable, billable blueprints.
So it's a time-boxed way to get the details, addressing that knowledge and time gap we talked about at the start.
Exactly. It directly tackles why many MSPs aren't doing this already, even though they know they probably should be.
Which brings us to a final thought, maybe a challenge for our listeners.
I think so. It raises a really profound question for any MSP listening right now. If this kind of high-margin growth is possible by delivering these measurable, performance-guaranteed outcomes, by shifting your value proposition purely to quantifiable business results,
Yeah.
then what existing services in your own portfolio need to change? How do you evolve from being the provider who just guarantees uptime and stability to being the partner who demonstrably drives your client's business results?
That's the strategic shift, isn't it? Moving from utility to growth engine.
It is, and this model really forces every modern MSP to confront that challenge head-on.
A really fascinating deep dive into a potential operational transformation. Thanks for breaking that down.